constant rate of change, which something is a linear function if it has a constant rate of change. Constant rate of change means it adds or subtracts by the same amount over and over and over and over and over and over forever. That's what makes a linear function, if it has a constant rate of change. Also, if it's a straight line, like we talked about yesterday. Constant rate of change is also known as slope. So if I ask you to find the rate of change, I am asking you to find the slope. Or if I ask you to find the slope, I'm asking you to find the rate of change. It's the same thing. You will hear me describe slope on a graph in two different ways. You will hear rise over run. You will also hear me say vertical change over horizontal change. Whatever makes more sense to you is fine with me. Personally, I will probably say vertical over horizontal more often, but if rise over run makes more sense to you, then you go with that. I don't care. So yes, we are watching slope do today. If you watched it in 8th grade, then that's good, because it's a wonderful cinematic event. One of the best videos on YouTube. Truly. It's got some nice smooth jazz playing in the background. So we're going to watch it now. When you find slope from a graph, the first thing you need is 2 points. So choose 2 points if it's not already chosen for you. Your 2 points, if you're choosing them, they need to hit the corner of a square, like this. Otherwise, you're going to have a really hard time finding the slope. So choose 2 points that hit the corner, like that. When you have your 2 points, you need to make a slope triangle, which is usually should be a right triangle. So make a right triangle. You're going to do your vertical change over your horizontal change in a fraction. Otherwise known as rise over run. So if you would rather write rise over run, that's fine with me. They're your notes. Vertical change over horizontal change, or if you want to write here, rise over run. It's the same thing. Last part, and this is where I don't want you to lose points on a quiz or a test. This is like you being precise and making sure that your final answer is as perfect as it should be. You need to add the positive sign or the negative sign and simplify. So if the fraction can be simplified, you must do so. Okay, when we see a horizontal line, you can go ahead and say it. What does slope dude say?
No fun.
What does he say? This is 0 fun. And so your slope here should be 0. If anytime you see a horizontal flat line like that, it's 0. Think. On number 2, the second one here, you already have 2 points. We're going to use those. The points are labeled. I understand that these don't hit the corner. If you were choosing your own, you shouldn't choose these. But because they're labeled, you can use them. You need to make a right triangle between the 2 points. And find your vertical change, your rise. This graph is scaled by 2, which means that each square is worth 2. So our y values are going from -3 to +4. What's your vertical change? It's 7, from -3 to 4. If you're confused on how I'm getting that, each square is worth 2. So it's 2, 4, 6, and then half of 1, 7. And it goes from 2 to 5 for the x values. So what's your horizontal change? 3. From 2 to 5. So this is 5 right here. So your rise over your run or your vertical change over horizontal change should be 7 over 3. But real quick, check, should it be positive or negative? Positive. Positive, yes. So if you want to put the plus sign in, you can. If you're typing in your answer on a program like MathXL or something, you don't have to. I'm going to do it today just so you are seeing that. Okay, one more. On the next graph, you don't have points chosen for you, so you have to choose 2 points that hit the corner of a square. It's important that you choose points correctly, otherwise you're going to have a hard time to find the slope. You could choose different points than me, but here's one. And then if you follow it down to over 3, there's another one that hits the corner of a square. And that keeps happening. So any of these points are fine, but you just need 2. So choose the ones that you like the best. Make a right triangle. What is your vertical change? How many squares? 2. There's 2 squares. So your vertical change is 2. How many horizontal squares? 3. So your rise over your run or vertical over your horizontal change is 2 over 3. And what would slope dude say on this slope? Nice, negative. From left to right. With 3 eyes. Nice, negative. So this is negative 2/3. You have to put the negative sign or your answer is not correct. All right, looking for change in y over change in x. You will write your slope as a fraction. And then please simplify it or divide it if it's a word problem, typically. All right, change in y and change in x. You need both. They're not always going to be the same, and that's okay and normal. Okay, from 4 to 7, does it add or subtract, and how much? How is it changing? Plus 3. From 4 to 7. I would draw arrows here, so you know you're going from 4 to 7, because you have to do the same thing on the right side. From 20 to 14, how does it change, please? It does subtract 6. Okay, from here on out, I didn't write this up here. When you see change in y over change in x, you will see me write that with little triangles. What that means, so that's a delta sign. It literally means change. So you're going to see me write change in y over change in x with triangles instead, because I don't want to write it out every time, and you probably don't either. Okay? So change in y over change in x is negative 6 over 3. This can be simplified because what can 6 and 3 both divide by? 2. 3 can divide by 3, so you get 2 over 1, which is just negative 2. So your final answer, if you're like doing this on an online program like MathXL, you should type in negative 2, but negative 2 over 1 is still correct because negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. These last two are special. We need to find our change in y and change in x. From negative 1 to positive 1, what's your change? Adds 2. From 2 to 2?
0.
Yeah, 0. Go and write that. Because when we do our change in y over our change in x, you have to write 0 over 2. What's 0 divided by anything? 0. This is a horizontal line because the y value is always at 2. The last one is similar but different. From -3 to 3, put plus 0. And then from -3 to 0, what's it do? Plus 3. Change in y over change in x is 3 over 0. What is that equal to? 0? 3? No. Do you know what it is? Do you have a question? Hey, you cannot divide by 0 in math. When you see this happen, no, undefined. This is a vertical line. This is not allowed. You cannot divide by 0. It is not 0. It is undefined because it's a vertical line.